In 1952, an ad from Continental Oil Company shows a woman being sprayed with a hose. The central message suggests she doesn't mind, reflecting post-war gender roles and consumer culture. Even though women were pushing for equality in the workplace, social norms still kept them tied to the home. A good example is the Kenwood ad that says, "The chef does everything but cook." At the end of the 19th century, Coca-Cola was launched and sold in pharmacies as a tonic for headaches, thanks to its formula that included coca extracts and caffeine. Even today, many people believe a glass of Coke can ease a headache. When that ad was released, nobody thought twice about the image of a boy with a gun. But nowadays, most people would be outraged to see a traditional media ad showing a child casually handling a firearm. This ad claims that Albert Einstein, the famous scientist, endorsed Mentos. The truth is, Einstein never endorsed any product. During the 1940s, licensing laws were pretty lax, which allowed companies to use someone's image without getting their permission or paying them. In 1959, Bell and Howell released a controversial ad designed to show off the technical capabilities of its new color projector, a big milestone in the shift from black and white to full-color home displays. The Parker Pen's ad says, "A girl-sized hand needs a girl-sized pen." I guess the Parker Pen CEOs thought they were solving a problem, but they ended up creating a different one. In the 1950s, after the war, Mr. Leg's Pants ran magazine campaigns that stirred up controversy. With suggestive and patriarchal humor, they played on gender roles, sparking criticism from readers and advocacy groups. The ad message highlights the hygienic benefits of cellophane, emphasizing its ability to offer effective protection against dirt and bacteria. Unfortunately, some parents, driven by a desire to protect their children, followed the instructions to the letter. The PEP Vitamins ad aimed at women promotes the idea that they should find greater happiness and fulfillment in dedicating themselves to household tasks like cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, and taking care of the kids, with the help of vitamins. This public service ad is clearly directed at men and aims to warn traveling businessmen, sailors, soldiers, and young guys that immoral women are just as dangerous as loaded weapons. In campaigns by Chase and Sanborn promoting coffee, one storyline showed a husband punishing his wife for buying a different brand, revealing advertising practices that normalized control and domestic punishment. Back then, husbands were seen as the disciplinarians of the family, and unfortunately, that dynamic often extended to their wives as a way of maintaining dominance in the marriage and reinforcing who held the power. During the 1960s, office machines were bringing a revolution to American workplaces. But no matter how innovative the machines were, it seemed an attractive, seductive secretary was still considered essential. In 1890, an ad for Gold Dust washing powder promised the modern housewife she'd save 6 hours of work each day. By highlighting the product's efficiency, the message reflected gender expectations and the emerging pace of urban life. A Hardee's ad pushed the idea that fast food is meant for single men who don't have a woman around to cook for them. It implied that if a man were married, his wife would naturally be in the kitchen. At the time, a Panasonic hairdryer ad poked fun at consumerism. It claimed that even without actually using the product, just owning it meant you were modern and had status, and that simple ownership was enough to bring satisfaction. Volkswagen ran an ad suggesting that sooner or later someone's wife would bring home one of the best reasons to own a Volkswagen. The message hinted that if anyone in the family were to get into trouble, it would be the wife. A mid-20th century ad promoted wired girdles and padded bras. The slogan, "This is no shape for a girl," dismissed natural curves by comparing a pear to the female body. aligning consumer culture with body discipline. A 1950 Tippolit cigar ad claimed that the scent of cigar smoke attracts women, saying they'd follow the man who blew smoke their way. The ad is a clear example of the gender rhetoric of that time. According to the ad, Total Cereal was pitched as the answer to two challenges supposedly faced by 1960s housewives: staying slim and keeping up with housework, delivered with everyday practicality. A Warner's ad promoted its new corset, made without the traditional sewn-in bones. Instead, this modern girdle used a synthetic plastic material that was much more comfortable and eco-friendly. In an ad that seems to predate the legging craze, this print ad promotes the use of synthetic elastane material like tights or leggings that can be worn under any kind of clothing to provide a bit of warmth and modesty. A Van Heusen brand ad shows that men thought women wanted a strong, responsible guy who showed off his superiority and masculinity whenever he could, doing all that while wearing a sharp, tailored dress shirt. In an ad from the time, a hosiery company warns wives about the appearance drop after marriage. Even when doing housework, a woman should wear new, clean, hole-free stockings as a sign of care and respectability. Divorce used to be such a huge stigma that advertisers used it as a tactic to sell products. It was simple. They'd scare a housewife with the threat of divorce and convince her to buy the product. In this case, the product was Listerine. A mid-20th century ad for Jade East aftershave features a sensual Asian model to tie the product to a simplified sense of exoticism, playing on the name's ambiguity and the ad norms of that era. In past decades, cigarettes and cigars were seen as signs of social status. This ad encourages readers to try a cigar, saying it reawakens basic instincts and boosts confidence and a sense of power. In the Dove Cream ad, the large close-up images behind the three women show how the skin gets more hydrated after using the product. But it's the position of the three models that makes the ad offensive, showing a before and after effect using the women themselves. In mid-20th century advertising logic, Hoover promotes its new vacuum cleaner, assuming the housewife enjoys vacuuming and dreams of getting the latest model for Christmas to keep up with housework. An ad for built-in ovens for better convenience. If an ad shows someone who's beautiful, rich, or glamorous, the underlying message is that the consumer will also feel beautiful, rich, and glamorous if they buy that product, even if it's just an oven. In the mid-20th century, an ad from the Committee for a Better America prescribed rigid marital roles, defining a happy marriage as a stay-at-home wife and a breadwinner husband. An ad like this would now be the target of feminist critique. This has to be one of the funniest innuendos found in vintage advertising. I'm not sure if this is an ad for shorts, bicycles, or a cycling club, but basically, I think what they're saying is that riding a bike, no matter what you're buying, makes men and women happy and ready to ride. Either way, did they really get away with this? If you're still not sure what I'm talking about, take a look at that happy bike seat pointing in a funny direction.